and one project currently it's in POC status. And my background is I am a master. Okay, can I know about yourself?
Yeah, Raj. I mean, basically, I'm also from Hyderabad, but presently I'm settled in Colorado, US. I have a master's in business management and also a master's in logistics and supply chain management. And I have about 22 years of supply chain experience working with retail and consumer packaged good industries.
Oh, good.
Wherein, I mean, I was up to a level of like budgeting for the entire business. To the tune of roughly about 500 to 600 crores. So where during that about 6-7 years back, we didn't use any tools as such because I was involved with a couple of new startups. But the entire data was, I mean, we were doing all the analysis in spreadsheets, and there was no database from where we need to extract, because we had some older data in the form of spreadsheets from previous employments, or probably some data provided by some research agencies and all that stuff.
Okay.
So this is what it is, and presently I'm working as a supply chain analyst, working for an organic food.
You might be from ERP background, right?
A couple of softwares, or rather we use a couple of ERPs. One is a data specialist sync, which is basically a database as well as a ERP. And then we use a warehouse management software called Savannah, which is basically used for retrieval and shipping of the goods what we manufacture.
Okay.
So this is what pretty much my experience as far as any kind of an ERP or any data or industry per se.
Okay. Good. You have very solid experience.
Yeah, I mean, I have a good domain experience, and unfortunately, I don't have any IT experience whatsoever to venture out into the US market. And when I understand that the data science or probably whatever the programs or things like Hadoop or HANA running around the data science are picking up very good in the market.
Yeah.
So, I mean, along with Hadoop, I'm also undergoing, I mean, in the sense, I'm also listening to some demo programs from other tools like Hadoop or probably SAP HANA and all those. Probably they could be integrated as well as, I don't know, I'm not so sure.
Of course, it can be.
Yeah. So this is one of the, this is the first ever demo I am attending of something to do with data science.
Yes.
So
okay.
Yep.
Yeah. It's very interesting from your background. Seems to be very good. And first of all, let me explain what is Hadoop. Before that,
you want me to mute myself?
I'm okay.
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 I mean, because I see that I am the only. Yeah.
You better mute once. Let me check.
Are there any other people sitting in the training? I mean, in the demo?
No. I think.
No. You are the only one.
Okay. I think then it's be fine, because in case you are not getting any echo, you are only able to listen to me. Then I think I can keep my mic open. Or if you are getting.
Yeah, Raj, you can keep your mic open. I want Rathan to mute.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I see some disturbance from his side, I think.
Okay, because I think when I am also sitting pretty close to the kitchen, so you might be having some disturbance. So I'll mute myself, and whenever I have a question, I'll open it and I'll talk to you.
Okay, we'll do one thing. First, you just put on your mic. I will ask you when to mute, because I have some questions from my side.
Sure. I mean, it's on right now.
Okay, then we'll proceed.
Yeah.
So you have around 22 years of experience, and once if you are expert in Hadoop, what might be your role? Definitely, it's a project management role itself, right?
I mean, honestly, I have no idea whatsoever about any kind of IT industry profile. Okay, so when I am listening to you, it will be all ABCD for me. I mean, I might go as a consulting manager, I might go as a database administrator. I have absolutely no idea. So once I get into this training and once I finish, maybe based on my domain experience and associated with Hadoop, I mean, what it would be, you can tell me. I mean, like what level I should be, what I mean, level I would be going into the industry as. I mean, absolutely. I
Okay. Yes, that's good. Okay, let me explain one thing. Last week itself, I have given I have trained a person who is having around 20 years of experience. Today itself, he traveled to US. He is a manager.
Okay.
In
What
his
was his
perspective, he is an IT, but of course, he is a civil engineer.
Okay.
He is a civil engineer, being as a civil engineer background, but he started his domain experience as an construction side. Later on, he developed into civil. He is particularly into ERP domain.
Okay.
So even though his experience is related to ERP, he has some good knowledge on database end. I mean MySQL, because there should be some good idea on at least what is a database, what is a file system. Before learning the Hadoop, you should be capable to have a little bit knowledge on what is a database and what is a file system.
Okay.
So, and coming to your experience, you have almost 22 years of experience. Definitely, you will be recruited as a manager. You are not going to do any programming tasks. You will be just guiding. That means you have to know what is possible on Hadoop, what is not possible on Hadoop.
Okay.
Once if you know what is possible on Hadoop and how you can be deployed, you don't need to know how it can be deployed, but you just know it can be possible. Is it possible or is it possible? Is it impossible? Only two areas you should be concentrated, being as 22 years of experienced resources.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and there are two areas to be concentrated on Hadoop. One is Hadoop developer and another one is Hadoop administrator.
Okay.
And coming to Hadoop developer, there are some programming languages. It's MapReduce programming, it's pig scripting, pig UDFs, Hive. Hive is completely, we can say something as it's a database. My question to you is, do you have any idea on any one of the database, RDBMS or a DBMS?
No. See, I mean, in my previous employments, I might have used them. Absolutely. In the back end, whatever there, I have no idea. Like, for example, like present employment, whatever I work, the database is called as Data Specialist Inc. It's a software called DSI. It is a database also, and it's a ERP also.
No, let me explain. See, ERP is completely different. ERP may use a database, because
Exactly.
even I have some.
Yeah, here
Because,
DSA itself is a database. That's what I'm saying. It's got a little bit back end, and for the front end where we see the screens, we retrieve the data from DSA itself, because DSA is designed in such a way that it can hold data also, and also it can retrieve the data for various purposes in extraction and doing some analysis and all that stuff.
I mean, you might be thinking of GUI, right? Graphical user interface, where you can drag, you can drop, you can click and do some operations using the GUI. In the backend, you may not be knowing what is on what.
Exactly. That is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yes. So in the background, you might be connecting to a database. It might be any database, DSA or something.
I have no idea. I mean, because we don't have permissions to go
Of course.
so deep.
You may not be given any permissions.
Yeah.
Okay. So coming to Hadoop, if you are really interested to learn what is Hadoop, how you can deploy, how you can start your career in Hadoop, then this is a good time where you can start your career in Hadoop. Okay. Because coming to big data, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay. First, you need to know what is big data. Big data means it's not a huge data. It's big data in sense it's a type of the data.
Okay.
Usually for a computer, for suppose you have your computer, you have your machine with you, which is having 100 GB of hard disk, and you have your data which is acting as input into your computer. It is being increasing day by day. You have 10 GB of data today. Then 10 GB of data is not a big data to you. Within a month you may be reaching 300 GB, whereas your computer can adopt only 100 GB. Then after 100 GB, the next 1 GB is nothing but your big data. I think you understood, right? It's a simple concept.
So over and above the capacity of that storage
Yeah, exactly.
box or
It's
whatever.
very, very simple to tell, because this is, I don't want to tell you anything more about big data and all. When you are not capable to hold any data, then that data is big data. When you have, see, your requirement is, your current situation is 100 GB of data. I mean, current machine. And for suppose you have another machine which contains another 100 GB. So the next month also you are comfortable with your machines. You don't have any issues with handling data. But the third month you may be having some issues with handling the regular incoming data. The third month you may feel that, okay, I have huge data, I have big data with me, obviously. So whenever you are having data increased, the input data has been increased regularly, and you want to do some analytics on that data. See, for suppose I don't want this data, you can delete the data. The data is no more required. But still you want to use that data. Then there is a possibility to have to store the data. Where do you want to store the data? If the data is structured data, that is a different issue. But if the data is unstructured and semi-structured data, it is very costly, and that data, storing that data is really very, very costly with current infrastructure. So coming to Facebook and Google, we have Facebook, and the number of users currently using Facebook is almost millions. And coming to Google, the number of users using Google is almost infinite, we can say. One second. Excuse me. Yeah. So when you are discussing with huge data and we are discussing about big data, you should be aware of what is the data. Is it structured or is it unstructured? Structured means you can put the data into any RDBMS. That is very easy. I will explain you what is the meaning of structured, what is the meaning of unstructured, what is the meaning of semi-structured. Okay. Coming to structured data. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Only thing is I'm
Ah,
just muting
okay.
myself.
Okay, Vijay. Coming to structured data, any data within the database. I mean, if we have stored any data within any RDBMS database, whether it is in DBMS or RDBMS, if you store the data in the database, means that is a structured data. That means we have already extracted some data, we have extracted the data and we have tuned the data, and only required fields are been taken and inserted in the database. That is a structured data concept, right? And coming to semi-structured data. Semi-structured data means you need to be aware of XML. I mean .xml files. Do you have any idea on .xml files?
I mean, I have absolutely no idea, Raj. I mean, not XML.
Uh-huh.
Is it something to do with the HTML sort of a thing?
No. It's a XML file.
Okay.
It contains the values. It contains the tag names. It contains the tag values, tag fields, and tag names. It would be good if I show you any one of the XML file, but it's right now I can't show you any one XML file. Do you have any knowledge on VMware?
Yeah, I do have the knowledge of VMware. It's a virtual machine sitting on your own computer, wherein you can install other servers and other softwares to operate.
Exactly. So VMware is nothing but it's a virtual machine. It contains various kinds of features, something like we can create any kind of operating system. We can deploy our own OS if it is possible with your end, and we can make it up on any bare metal system, but there are some limitations, something like AX, HPX, Solaris. There are different types of Unix flavors where you can't do any VMware activities. It can be done, but with the different types of VMwares it is possible, but with some basic versions of VMware it is not possible. So VMware, currently I have installed a VMware, and I have installed Ubuntu on the machine, and I have Hadoop installed on Ubuntu, and it's a Cloudera versions of Hadoop. Coming to different types of Hadoop, there are three types. One is Cloudera, another one is Hortonworks, another one is Apache Hadoop. Okay, each and every version of Hadoop, I mean it's not the version type of Hadoop, having their own features, and but all three types of Hadoops have the same features except the security.
Okay.
Security is a feature where they own their own different types of encryption models. Encryption models in sense, see, I have encrypted password. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, this is an XML file.
Okay, got you. Basically, this is like whenever you press a wrong key when you are browsing your internet, there's a small window which pops up in the bottom with this kind of coding. Maybe say debug yes or no, something like that.
I didn't get you.
See, when you are browsing a particular website, any website.
Okay. That is HTML file. It's not an XML file.
No, I mean
that might be an HTML file.
Okay,
Let me show
okay,
an example of HTML file.
Okay. Yeah, I mean probably I was talking about the same thing. View page.
This
source.
one, right? So
yes.
This is an HTML file.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
You understood, right?
yeah. Okay.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but this is an XML file.
Okay.
This is semi-structured data. That means we have a property, we have a property name, we have a property value. So, but when coming to this is a let me explain you. Do you have any idea on SQLs? Okay.
No, Raj.
Yeah, Vijay.
I mean, I am saying I'm a very layman to IT industry.
Okay, then that is the reason why I am showing you each and every example.
Yeah.
What is the meaning of structured data? What is the meaning of semi-structured data? What is the meaning of unstructured data? Okay, I am showing you one table. That is nothing but EMP. Can you see this one?
Yeah, I can
select star from EMP. This is a simple SQL statement, structured query language statement. Select star. I mean, I am selecting all from table EMP. This is an MySQL. I have invoked MySQL. I think I showed you that. See, this is the command MySQL. I'm invoking. This machine already contains MySQL installed on the machine. Okay, so I logged in as root, and I am showing you what are the structured data. What is the structured data? See, this is structured data I have inserted into the MySQL. Excuse me. So this is an example of structured data. That means everything is in the form of a row and column based. The 100 Gopal 10,000, 101 Ravi 11,000. So all these are in the form of structured data, right? And the early one
is in rows and columns, as I said. Yep.
Yeah. And the earlier one, what I showed you is an XML file, right? That is in the form of semi-structured. That means we need to do some programmatic languages to identify the property name, property value, and the tag name. Based upon that, we do some programmatic languages to extract the values exactly stored in that values. Those data is called semi-structured data. And I am showing you another file. Can you see this one? Tail I've just okay, well done thing. I will open it. This is a log file where you can see complete logs, and the data printed in this log file is nothing but unstructured data, right? Okay, can you see this file name? I just printed a file name named /var/log/messages. You can see some one line printed on the console. This is nothing but an unstructured format, and Hadoop is specialized, and Hadoop has this specialty to operate some programmatic language on these data and extract some meaningful data and load into the RDBMS or any DBS or any Hadoop itself and Hadoop framework itself. Such kind of information is purely very interesting and very costly. So Hadoop is especially famous to handle such data.
Okay.
Yes, Vijay.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm expecting some doubts from your end.
No, I'm clear with what you're saying. So, I mean, whenever I have a doubt, I'll post it to you.
Okay, because see, if you know what are the basic understandings, then that would be very easy for me to explain.
Yeah, you are explaining the structured and unstructured, I mean, XML language, which is unstructured database, and
yeah, it's not only XML. I just want you to be aware of what is structured data, what is semi-structured data, what is unstructured data. So you are aware of now currently what is unstructured data, semi-structured and structured data, and now coming into the real world with the current world's requirement, we have a huge data which is in the form of unstructured data. So Hadoop is a good environment for Hadoop is a good environment where we can maintain, where we can store all this unstructured data on our regular servers, I mean commodity servers. I will explain you what I mean about commodity servers and what I mean about servers, Unix servers on any huge servers where we need to expend some huge amount of money, and those servers which are very costly. So with the real world, we have huge data which is unstructured. Any structured data which can be stored in any type of RDBMS, that is very easy and that is very costly. And coming to unstructured data, we have huge number of log files where we generate regularly. Example is nothing but what I showed you before. It's an pure unstructured data. We don't have any such format where we can identify those values and put them in an order and then try to extract the values and all. So this is unstructured data. This is one area where we will be using Hadoop infrastructure to extract some meaningful data and store the data into Hadoop and then process the data. In the real-time environment, I will give you an example. Coming to data, do you know, I think you have some good idea on what is bytes, bits, bytes, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes, and petabytes, right? Okay.
Yeah, that is basically the size of the data which is sitting.
Yeah, exactly. 1 TB of data in sense nothing but 1024 GB of data. I mean 1024 MB megabytes of data is nothing but is equal to 1 gigabyte of data. 1024 gigabytes GB of data is equal to 1 terabyte of data. 1024 TB of data is equal to 1 petabyte of data. That is very huge. So with 1 second, I will be back within 2 seconds. I will get some water. Okay. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. So when you are dealing with huge amount of data, you should be aware of what type of data you want to store. You should be aware of what type of data you do not want to store, and at the same time, what is the expense, how much you need to spend on the data to store those values. You need to maintain such values. And coming to the storage point of view, how much an RDBMS can store, how much Hadoop infrastructure can store, right? Okay. In Google, in Yahoo, in Microsoft, in Amazon, we are storing huge amount of data in terms of petabytes of data, and daily the increase in data has been increasing around 10 to 20%. So with that increasing data, the scientists, the Apache group, and actually the developer, I mean the main intention, the main motive to develop such kind of big data analytic tool came from Yahoo. They seems to find a tool where we can store the data, and they don't want to spend huge amount of money to store the data, because when we have a log file, that the entire log file doesn't contain information. I mean the entire log file doesn't contain the exact what we say, the data which should be stored in the form of structured data. But out of 100% of data, only 2 or 3% of data may be useful, where we need to extract the data and store in an RDBMS or any DBMS. So what we need to think is, Yahoo laboratories, what they find out ultimately is to, okay, we have this much of huge amount of data, out of which only 0 to 5% of data is useful. The rest of 95% or 90 to 99% of data is not useful. What should I do with those data? But still I need to extract the data. That means I need to capture the entire 100%. Then later I need to extract the data based upon my requirement and copy the only 0 to 5% of data into any RDBMS. So then they came out with the concept nothing but Hadoop. Enter Google, Yahoo, Microsoft, Amazon, many companies, they have their own developing teams using the open source Hadoop data. And coming to Hadoop, it's open source. That you need to be aware of very much. You should be aware of this concept. Hadoop is an open source. You may be aware of open source, right?
No, Raj, I have no idea about what open source is.
That is some basic area. Open source is nothing but it's a free tool.
Okay.
Take the Hadoop source code from Apache,
Uh-huh.
and you can take the code and you can develop yourself and make it as your own Hadoop. Nobody is going to charge anything for you.
Oh, okay, okay. I
See,
got that
if you, yeah, if you are coming to any RDBMS, something like MySQL, earlier MySQL was open source. I think you do remember about MySQL.
Yep.
Later on, Oracle has taken, acquired the MySQL, and they have taken over the MySQL source code, and they have developed this little more with the security features and all, and they developed it, and now they are charging for MySQL also.
Okay.
Do you have any idea on any other databases, RDBMS?
See, we might have used in the backend, but I don't know the names of those because we were never involved in any kind of a
No,
data.
the reason why I am asking is you should be aware of a minimum, before jumping into Hadoop, you should be aware of minimum some areas. Something like what is a database, how you are using it, any programming language, because Hadoop is written in Java.
Okay.
You need to get some idea on core Java. Core Java in sense, OOPS concepts, object-oriented concepts,
Okay.
and some Unix knowledge. I mean, see, whatever the command I am typing now, can you see the command now?
Yeah, I mean that's what I was saying. That's what I was telling you. This is the first ever demo, whatsoever I'm attending and pertaining to something to do with kind of some programming stuff.
Yeah, I understood you, but I hope you may have some knowledge on what I am doing, what I am typing. You may be having some good minimum idea, because I am talking about.
I need to do a little bit more research once I keep looking at what you are doing and what is happening when you talk about Java, OOPS, and Unix and all that stuff. Maybe I need to Google saying that pertaining to Hadoop, what is the bare minimums I should be knowing. So I mean, probably today I'll sit and then I'll start doing that.
If you are really enthusiastic, then we can. I mean, you can proceed, because this is the area where the world is looking in future. Coming to India, I think I have to complete my PPT. Otherwise, you may not get proper idea before coming. But that would be the better way if I give you some real-time experience, real-time scenarios. How Hadoop is growing, how Hadoop is emerging the technologies, how Hadoop is being used, on what are the areas Hadoop is being used. If I can explain you first that, then later that would be easy for me to make you. So big data, I think you are aware of big data right now.
Yeah, I mean that's what you said. Whatever the data over and above the point where we can store, or rather to say, the data which is overflowing is what is big.
Yes, exactly. That means where you don't have any, you have your own limits of your hardware, everything, right? So when it is accessing, when it is flowing out, when you don't want, when you cannot store the data, that is simple concept. That is nothing but big data. You cannot store it. That is a big data. And coming to Hadoop, Hadoop is an open source, and Hadoop can be installed on any commodity server. Commodity server, I think you are aware of commodity server, right? Commodity server is nothing but, yeah, it might be your local desktop.
Yeah, I mean when you said open source, I mean obviously as you said, open source can be developed into your own kind of Hadoop. And I can attribute it to that it can be installed anywhere.
No, you are confused. Let me explain correctly. See, open source is nothing. Open source is not at all related to any commodity hardware or any costly hardware. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let me explain what is commodity hardware. You have your own PC, laptop. It's not an. You have your PC Dell, right?
Okay.
Dell has latitudes, right? Latitudes means those are servers. They can be run on a 24/7 basis.
Okay.
They are not at all interrupted with 24/7, 365 days. And coming to commodity servers, commodity machines, I mean your ordinary laptop which is used for home purpose.
Okay.
It has simple hardware, simple machine which is not at all related to servers. If
Okay.
you run if you run some services on your commodity servers, it may be exhausted on 6 to 7 hours. After 6 to 7 hours, the process may be used continuously, and the servers may hang. I mean, commodity machines may hang, but the
Okay.
servers will never hang.
Okay.
Any server, any power, any I mean Google or Yahoo, any production server is installed on a server itself, on a Unix server, on many Linux servers only. Actual production servers are installed only Linux servers, Unix servers. It's not on Windows servers. So you need to know what is a commodity machine and what is an server.
Okay.
Commodity service is cheap, but when coming to server, community machine is cheap. When coming to server, it is very costly.
Okay.
You can find this one later when you get some time on
Yeah,
how to identify the
I do
community
that.
machines and the hardwares which are very costly.
Okay.
Any production server is very costly because the hardware and the server itself is compacted with a huge number of processors, cores, and many backup servers also.
Okay.
So you should know what is a community machine and what is a server. Community machine is very cheap, and a server is very costly.
Okay.
So Hadoop can
Basically,
be installed on a community machine as well as a server also.
okay. Got you. Okay.
So unlike other RDBMSs, so for suppose if I install any RDBMS on any community machine, then that is very costly. I mean very cheap. But I don't know whether you know one thing. One community machine is cheap and it can be destroyed at any time of time. We don't know when the hardware crashes.
Okay.
But a server will never crash. It has its own limitations. It has its own capabilities to store the data. And even though if the data has been corrupted, we have some tools where we can retrieve the data.
Okay.
So Hadoop is a freeware, plus it can be installed on any local machine on any kind of community server. I think if you get some idea or if you get some time, whenever, you just go through what is a community machine and what is a server.
I'll do that.
That will be helpful for you. What is it can make some differences. And Hadoop is an open source which can be installed on any community machine, rather like big RDBMS like Oracle, Teradata, DB2, Hexadata, something like those are different types of RDBMSs. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, here we are. Earlier we used to have floppy disks, drives, CD drives, now hard disks, and now 1 TB portable disks also, which are very cheap. Nowadays, storing the data is not a big problem, but analyzing the data is a problem, because I need to make the, see we have a portable disk which costs around 5,000, which can store around 1 TB of data, right? Okay, but we don't have any operating system installed on that 1 TB of installed on that hardware. We have a hardware which costs around 5,000 rupees of a portable hard disk, but it doesn't contain any such kind of operating system where we can perform some operations. That hardware contains only simple operating system where we can extract the data, copy, paste. Apart from that operating system knows nothing.
True.
In a similar way, Hadoop can be installed on any commodity server which is very cheap, and we can operate using any programmatic languages, particularly Java.
Okay.
Yeah. And now why the data is so big? So this is the organization simple concept which everyone knows. And coming to coming to statistics in 1990, 2012, we know what is the value of a hardware, how much of data can be stored on any device, and how much time it takes to process the data, right? For suppose if you have 1 GB of data and and the processing speed is around 5 MB per second, then it takes something around 5 minutes to process the entire data. And in the recent days, we have 1 TB of SATA hard drives, which is very, very fast and which can store 1 TB of data, and the processing speed is 100 MB per second. 100 MB per second is very, very speed, very, very fast, and it takes around 2.5 hours because it should process 10 times of 1 GB of data, right? So it takes some time, and we have multiple machines Hadoop is a concept. Okay. Big data. Big data, nothing but the name itself is big. So we have an image where we have captured as an elephant. That is a simple area. How to handle such big data concepts of torrents. So before jumping into such areas, let me explain what is the need. Okay, community hardware for data storage and analysis, chances of failure. Okay, Hadoop is an environment where we can store data very cheaply on multiple locations. Means Hadoop cluster. Hadoop cluster means we are not configuring one machine. We are configuring one cluster. 100 machines. We are storing data on 100 machines, but with a replication factor. Replication factor means you have copied your resume or something, whatever maybe, onto Hadoop file system. That means that data will be copied onto multiple locations, because Hadoop is a commodity machine. We don't know when exactly a commodity machine will exhaust. It may be corrupted, right? The hard disk may be failured. The only one and only failure is nothing but hardware failure for any file system, right? So if you are copying one file onto Hadoop file system, then that file will be copied onto multiple locations based upon your configurable. I think you have knowledge on configuration, right?
Yeah.
Configuration means the default configuration on any Hadoop file system is nothing but 3. If so we are replicating data. We don't want to lose the data because we are using community servers. The only thing you need to know about community servers means because of money factor. So Hadoop being itself as an open source, and we are using ordinary community machines to store the data, and we are performing huge tasks using those Hadoop ecosystems.
Okay.
So this is a typical Hadoop cluster. I have been worked on around one Hadoop cluster which contains around 63 servers.
Okay.
I mean, the main reason why I am using server as a name instead of community machines means I came from a database company, so I regularly use server.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I got you. Okay.
Usually, because on an ordinary machine we never call them as a server.
True.
A server should be a server when it is highly configured. It may have the hardware itself is different. We don't use the ordinary hardware to install. I mean to bring up a the server. Ordinary machines are nothing but.
Raj, can a
Yeah.
server be used as a commodity machine? I mean, anytime.
No, no. I just want you to be aware of what is a community machine and what is a server.
And I got your point. I mean, community machine is one which we use generally for our daily usage.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
or like a PC or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and which is connected to a server in the back end where you store the data and probably retrieve the data for your working purpose or whatever it is. Or maybe you will be storing all your, I mean, softwares, hardwares, I mean, basically the softwares all in the server so that they don't get corrupted when you're working on the commodity machine.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
My question was, is there anybody, I mean, in your friend circle or somebody like that, or probably, can a server, can a server be used as a PC in itself? That's what was my question.
Yeah, good question. But you need to come. What is the requirement? See,
I mean,
one thing.
I have a lot of money, for example.
That is a different story.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of money, that is a different story.
As you said, the processors are fast. I mean, the data storage would be fast. There will be multiple processors. I mean, the server will never crash.
If you have enough money, then there is no concept of having Hadoop, right? People in the market generally are striving for money to deploy their own challenging tasks in very cheap mode. That is what Hadoop. Yes, that is a fact. I think you need to know what is fact. See, RDBM is very costly. Come think about Teradata. Installing Teradata on any machine and maintaining Teradata is very costly.
True.
Installing Oracle, that to enterprise relation, taking the licenses, taking the support is very costly. And you can go for an open source Hadoop. Hadoop also works as a database. There is no doubt in that. I can show you in examples also. And but it's very cheap. You don't need to buy any license. You don't need to buy any hardware. If you have your own PC, buy your PC, which is for your regular usage. Install Hadoop. That's it. You can act as a database. You can act as a file system. You can act as anything, whatever you want.
Okay.
Money is very costly.
True. That I agree with you.
Excellent.
I mean,
Yeah. That is the main point in Hadoop. Hadoop mainly comes, and Hadoop mainly focused only in the form of open source. Nothing apart from that. In the world, any database is very costly. Coming to Oracle, Teradata, Hexadata, DB2, even MySQL also is very, very, very costly. But Hadoop is freeware. It's an open source. Take the source. And only differences we have with different types of Hadoop is nothing but security features. Because there are hot on works. Teradata supports hot on works. Cloudera, that supports by many Ubuntu Linux servers also. And SUSE Linux supports only Teradata.
Okay.
Ubuntu supports Apache Hadoop. That is CDH, Cloudera Apache Hadoop. Okay. So these are the areas where we are concentrating on. But I will explain you one real-time example about the emerging necessity, emerging need of Hadoop in India. In India, we have very less opportunities Hadoop as of now. There are only some areas because yeah. Can you hear me, Vijay?
Yeah. Go ahead. Raj.
There is some fluctuation in my PC. Okay. Recently, India started a project in India. It's the central project related to income tax department. The project has been given to ITC, and two more consultants has been acquired the project, and the project is related to income tax and the spendings of any ATM card. It might be the debit card, it might be the credit card, it might be the shopping card, whatever it may be.
Okay.
Right. So what we are planning is, India recently launched the concept of having the rental system. If the rent of any house is increased for more than 17,000 or 18,000, then the owner's PAN card should be provided as a proof. I think you understood, right? For suppose my owner, my owner, I am paying a rent of 18,500. Then it's mandatory for me to show a proof of my owner's PAN card
Okay, got you.
in the form of a Xerox copy, whatever it may be, because I will be submitting my IT proofs, right?
Okay,
So I will be submitting those documents. So government, what they're planning is, they will be just taking the snapshot. I will be just entering the PAN card of my owner's PAN card in the form, and then I will submit the form. Later on, the PAN card will be entered into the database. That is a ordinary database system. That means it's purely structured database, because I am manually entering the database, right?
Yep.
So this data will be entered in the database, and it can be taken in the future. But when I am taking the logs of any debit card, any credit card, or any shopping card, each and every card logs will be maintained in the form of log files, which I showed you earlier, right?
Yes.
Yeah, those logs will contain one field, which is very cornered in any area. It may be right corner top, it might be left corner top, it might be left top in the bottom, or right bottom. Anywhere that data will be stored, that particular PAN number, which will not be entered in any RDBMS, which will be stored in the form of any proof, just in the log itself. So these log files will be captured, and then those data will be mapped. Coming to Hadoop, the one and only program is nothing but the MapReduce program.
So you are going to map only to those important fields in the log to
Yeah.
extract that important data.
Perfect.
Okay.
Mapping is only one area. Map means I am mapping one element, which is nothing but my PAN card, whatever baby. I am mapping the one element, my PAN card, into whatever the entire data I have with me,
True.
in the form of logs. Yeah, if I map the data with that exact PAN card number, come on, just bring the entire data of that related data and store in some area. I will later perform some operations on that area. First, just bring some data which is useful to me in the form of maps.
Yep. I got this.
Coming to HDFS. HDFS means nothing but Hadoop distributed file system. You know what is a distributed file system? Vijay?
No, Raj.
Yeah, distributed file system I have shown you before, right? A file system. A file system is nothing but your local machine is nothing but one file system.
Okay. Storing the location in multiple storing a file in multiple servers or locations.
No. Storing a file in one location, nothing but it's a file system. Your particular PC is now one file system. When you have multiple number of systems which are connected to a single network.
Yeah, that is distributed.
Yeah, I can access all the file systems through a network, right?
Yeah.
See, I have system A, system B, system. I think that is good for me to come up with an example showing one diagram, system A, system B. Is it good to you people?
No, I got this point. Like when you, like for example, there are 9 different locations on the screen right now. So that is called as a distributed file system. Wherever the files are stored.
Distributed file system in sense, all those machines have their own different IP addresses, but I can access them.
Yes.
Through a network.
I got that right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that is nothing but a cluster. Simple terminology.
Okay. So
Nothing more than that.
Cluster is basically a distributed file system.
No. Cluster is not a distributed file system. Cluster, we can call a cluster when we have different types of machines which are connected to a network.
Yeah.
And then which can be accessed via one network. That is nothing but a cluster.
Okay.
If you have Hadoop installed on all the machines, then that is nothing but Hadoop cluster.
Yeah. Okay.
Simple terminology. Cluster is nothing but see, in your home you have 3 machines. You have connected all 3 machines to a network. That network is called nothing but a cluster. And you have installed Hadoop on all the 3 machines, then that is nothing but a Hadoop cluster. Basic terminology.
Okay.
That is simple.
Okay.
Okay. So this is Hadoop cluster. And coming to MapReduce, this is purely, okay, it's written, the code will be written in Java. Prerequisites. So once if you are ready to work on Hadoop, you should be some familiarity on two areas. One is Java, another one is Linux.
Okay.
Tell me your expertise in Java and Linux.
Uh, Internet browsing, that's what is Java, and Linux. I mean, see, I hear Linux from our IT people. Is Linux a monitoring tool in your network?
No.
No?
Like,
Okay, I'm wrong then. I don't know.
see, this is a Unix firmware. This is Ubuntu machine, but it's Linux flavor. I think you can see my screen now.
Yeah.
It's Ubuntu machine. Even Ubuntu is a Linux flavor.
Okay.
Any production servers will be installed, any services will be installed only mainly on Linux and Unix servers only. You need to make a note of this.
Okay. Okay.
Because even SQL, Oracle, Teradata, everything will be installed on Linux and Unix servers only.
So basically,
Because
I mean, is Linux and Unix there are operating systems or?
OS, yeah, operating systems.
Okay, got you now. Okay, I got you. Something like
Windows, these are OSs.
okay, got you. So basically,
Yeah.
there
The
are
only
operating systems where servers are installed on because they are not so easily, they don't crash easily.
plus usually Unix servers will not get virused. Okay,
Okay, got you. Okay, okay.
like
So now I
Windows.
understood Linux and Unix. Okay.
Unix and Linux are both similar, except
Yeah.
the flavors differences. And coming to Windows, they are even, I mean, they are GUI friendly, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they are GUI friendly.
But
So
even Linux also is GUI friendly, or
yeah, of course, even Linux also is having GUI friendly itself.
Okay.
This is Ubuntu, right? On Ubuntu, it's a Linux server, and I'm using some GUI tools and everything and all.
okay.
I can use it. It should not be a problem to me. See, you can see my graphics, games and all, right?
Oh, okay, okay. Got you.
Yeah, good. So you need to be aware of what is Java, what is Linux. First of all, being yourself having 22 years of experience, you might definitely work as a manager or on top of a manager.
The only issue with me is, Raj, I have been an out and out supply chain guy always.
Understood.
I mean, setting up physical supply chain, setting up distribution centers, warehouses, going to sourcing procurement locations. So this has been my job always.
I understood.
So, I mean, what is happening in the back end, what is happening in the office also I didn't know sometimes because I used to sit in, indoor sourcing potato and onion. And then storage, I mean, put them in the warehouse. So setting up the entire supply chain, discussing with the vendors, how do you transport it, where you keep it. So what softwares they are installing in our office, what is the kind of database they are using for retrieving, I mean, the storage of the data, whatever is happening. I mean, absolutely, I never had any kind of a knowledge because I was always a field person. So that is what it is. I mean, I think coming to US, this is the first time I'm sitting and working on for so many hours on the computer doing some supply chain analysis and all that stuff.
Okay.
The only tool what we use is crystal reports.
Crystal, that's very old, man.
Yeah, that's very primitive because the company what I work is a very it's an organic food company. So organic food as such is not so big. Even in US also it is starting. So they don't want to install, they don't want to use big softwares or big data extraction tools to directly see whatever the kind of data they want to see as. So from business objects, I think SAP Business Objects is the biggest software or basically ERP we use.
SAP,
right now.
yeah?
Yeah, SAP BO.
BO, okay.
From BO, the data is downloaded into crystal reports, and once the crystal reports are exported into Excel, that is where we do all our analysis.
Yeah, I can understand because even I started my career as an SAP ABAP.
Okay.
So I have some good knowledge on how ERPs work because when you said that you worked on so and so ERPs, I mean so and so areas means supply chain means immediately I came to know that what is an ERP, how you worked on all, and how SAP or how Hadoop and how SAP HANA can be useful for you people because see there is no doubt in learning Hadoop, which might be definitely pretty useful because of the current boom in the market. There is no doubt because once the one and only main drawback on Hadoop, you can make this point also as a main concept. One and only drawback on Hadoop is nothing but it writes once and it will never edit.
Okay.
That is the main concept. Write once concept is the Hadoop feature. It will not edit the feature. Unlike other traditional RDBMSs like Oracle, MySQL, DB2 and all, we can edit the field in the database. But on Hadoop you can't edit the data. It only write once. That's the main thing. So all banking sectors will be using main RDBMSs.
Okay.
So once if Hadoop, now we have some scientists who are going through this lab, going through this edit once feature to be modified to edit many times.
Okay.
They are undergoing some laboratory changes. Some
Okay.
scientists are working on that. I don't know what is the status on that because I just use Hadoop, that's it.
Okay.
But still there are some features on Hadoop where we can do some edits. That is nothing but HBase. I think I should give some explanation on
I think I should do a
this
good research on,
ecosystems.
I should do some good research from Google on what the databases are, what is the commodities.
Yeah, obviously you should perform before I mean
Starting also.
before attending the session itself you should be having some knowledge because what I'm saying it should be some Greek and Latin to you.
True. I mean, see, at least now I can understand what is XML, what is, I mean, the different kind of things what you told right now, commodities, servers, and all that stuff. So now I can go back and relate myself, saying that okay, this is what it is. So let me search what actually the real time terminologies are, so that I can learn them.
Yeah. See, see what I mean to say is when you are really interested in Hadoop and attract the Hadoop market, nothing you can stop it. Everything is possible on Hadoop. That depends on your capability. One thing you have to learn is you need to check whether you are capable or not, whatever it may be.
True, because
any hardware.
when you're saying Java, Linux, then probably I need to.
Yeah.
So I mean, how does the course go forward? I mean, you're going to teach. I mean, not me. I mean, anybody want to learn Hadoop? You're going to teach Java and all that stuff, or I should already be having the knowledge of Java and Linux and all that stuff.
No. I will be giving some sessions on Java,
Okay.
on Linux.
Because see, Java I know is a very big language in itself. So at what level of expertise should we have in Java? I mean,
So that is what initially I kept as core Java.
okay.
Core Java is nothing but some basic concepts on C programming. Do you have any idea on C programming?
Yeah, I mean, I know that C is a programming language, and most of the most of the people use it for a variety of applications to, create their own applications for their office. Otherwise, probably I might be talking wrong also. For whatever purpose C is used, I know that it's a language.
Yeah, I can understand what you are saying, but one thing I want to mention is once if you are ready, you have 22 years of experience, right? So my intention is you will be definitely joined as if you are joining us Hadoop, you should be only aware of what is possible, what is not possible. That's it. On Hadoop, you are not going to answer.
That is true, but again, whoever the team who will be working for me, they should be knowing, and I should also understand at least the basics, like what these guys are doing or not, right?
Yeah. The reason why I'm explaining the same because yesterday, I mean, a couple of days back itself, I have given training to some other guy who is having 20 years of experience. When I am explaining him, he says that, oh, no. In deep, I know it because I'm myself as a manager. Even if I join in another company, also I might be joining as manager. I just want to know what is possible, what is not possible. You give me so guidance, so that would be helpful. I think you are also fall in the same category. Of course, you may not be. That depends on you.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it all depends on how well I learn Hadoop. I mean, how well I understand Hadoop. In fact.
yeah, learning Hadoop is different. Understanding Hadoop is very, very much pretty different. So, see, I have shown you one diagram. Okay, client. This is the diagram where I didn't discuss about client, right? This is a typical Hadoop cluster. And these are different types of clients. Coming to clients, I can say that Scoop is a client, Hue is a client, Pig is a client, Hive is a client. Okay. These clients are nothing but we use those infrastructure to access data, to retrieve data from Hadoop. That's it.
So are they something like interfaces?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they might be command line interfaces. And coming to Zookeeper, this has some GUI also, graphical user interfaces. This nothing but acts as a scheduler, cron job in Unix, scheduler in Windows terminology. That means it has some knowledge on what are the different types of jobs we are performing on Hadoop. When it completes, what is the next job to be completed? It acts as a cron job. You should be familiarity on Unix environment also, at least. Do you have any idea on Unix, Linux environment?
I mean, these are all very, I mean, as I told you, I've only heard these names in IT industry.
Okay. Okay. So, you have any doubts on what I'm saying?
Honestly, Raj, I tell you what, I mean, at least if I had 50% of the knowledge of what the technologies you are telling me, maybe I would have had some doubts. When I don't know anything, I mean, I should only listen from you, whatever you're saying. I mean, now, what I should do is, I mean, by any chance, is it possible for you to share this presentation or send me an email of this presentation?
Sure.
Yeah, if you can send this presentation, what I'll do is, I'll take out all those important points, whatever we discussed, and I'll Google for at least 1 week. I'll probably prepare some notes for myself.
Okay.
And say that, okay, this is what Hadoop is. I mean, and for for me to learn Hadoop, I mean, these are the knowledges I should have. I should have knowledge of what database is, what should I what DB2 is, what RDBMS is, what Oracle is. I mean, in terms of databases, and I should know what is an open source, like what you said. Hadoop is an open source database software, and then I should understand what Unix is. Then again, these words, what are there? Like Cozy, Scope, Flume, Hue, Hive, Pig, and more.
Yeah, I don't think you need all these Scoop, Uzi are required.
I mean,
only thing is you need to know some basics and all.
Yeah, I should know at least what are they. In the sense, are they the interfaces or they the? I mean, what happens with, like, for example, if Scoop is there in my access, then what happens with it? What is the important things?
No, I don't think those are required, man. These are nothing but Scoop is nothing but that is a different utility where we are extracting data from RDBMS and all.
I mean, I'm just telling you as an example. I mean, I'm not telling Scoop in particular.
Yeah, that's what I just want to know. I will point you where exactly you need to know areas.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, whatever you're typing, maybe you can just put it on an email. See, that is the only reason I didn't get into IT industry.
Okay.
Every time you have to upgrade yourself. Every time you have to be a edge of the market.
Obviously. Because,
and I thought that, see, with so much of supply chain experience, I'll get a good job in US. But quite unfortunately, I mean, US market doesn't recognize our Indian education system so thoroughly, unless until you are an IT guy. But they don't mind you're they don't mind you're a, yeah, they don't mind you're a BCom. But if you're a king in SAP, you can make nothing less than $150 to $200 per hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like for you, they don't mind if you are a Bachelor of Arts, but you have 5 years experience in database management and you know the database management thoroughly. I mean, you can be the head of the database management, you can be the head of the IT, whatever it is. Here qualification doesn't play major role. In the interview, whoever performs well as far as IT is concerned, he can make the biggest money.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to become the IT director and all, probably you should be a engineer, MBA, and all that stuff. So, I mean, I have a double master's, but I have no idea about, I don't have any idea about IT industry.
Yeah, I can understand you, sir.
So I am just working as a supply chain analyst. But if the same thing, if I was in India, if I would have thought that okay, I will go to US, I'll settle in US, and maybe I would have got trained in SAP, and wherever I was working, I'll say okay, I'll not go to the farms to source. I'll sit in the office and I'll become a IT manager, or I assist the IT manager in configuring the SAP system. Probably in US, I would have been in a different position right now.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know that wherever I was working, these guys were implementing SAP. They implemented SAP APO, demand planning, supply network planning. They implemented SAP retail. So,
What's your mail ID?
my mail ID is the retailer, THE RETA
Yeah, I'll send it to him.
at ymail.com.
Vijay,
Yeah, Aditya.
yeah, I'll send it to you.
Sure, fine. I mean, absolutely, I have no issues with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Raj, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, thank you.
I think it's fine.
Vijay, do you have any doubts from my end so that I can give some clarity on the information on what I have?
No. Vijay is not in a position to ask doubts right now. I mean,
I mean, this is all. I'm in a haze right now. Let me read through whatever the topics